Listen, stop what you're doing. Not later. Not when it's convenient. Now. Because something has already begun. You cannot see it yet. You cannot measure it. And if you try to explain it logically, you will miss it entirely. But there is movement, quiet, deliberate, unstoppable movement, in the unseen realm, and it concerns your son. You have prayed. You have worried. You have cried in silence when no one else noticed. And there were moments when you thought nothing was changing, when heaven felt distant, when your words felt like they were falling back to the ground instead of rising. But you were wrong. Nothing you released in faith has been wasted. Every whisper, every tear, every restless night where you called out for protection, for direction, for mercy, was recorded, weighed, and answered in ways you could not yet understand. Now listen carefully. This is not a small shift. This is not coincidence. This is not something that can be reversed by human interference. This is divine intervention. I am moving for your son. Even in places where you feared he was lost, I was present. Even in decisions you did not agree with, I was guiding. Even in the silence where you assumed I had stepped back, I was working deeper than ever before. You saw delay. I was preparing alignment. You saw distance. I was building protection. You saw confusion. I was rewriting direction. There are battles your son never knew he was in, because I fought them before they reached him. There are doors that closed suddenly, without explanation, because I shut them to prevent destruction. There are relationships that fell apart, plans that collapsed, paths that disappeared, and you questioned why. Now understand this, not every loss is a loss. Some endings are rescues. And what you thought was breaking him, was actually shaping him. But here is the warning you must hear. Do not allow fear to speak louder than faith in this moment. Because when I begin to move, the enemy also begins to whisper. You may hear thoughts like, nothing has really changed. It's too late. He's gone too far. This will end the same way it always does. Those thoughts are not truth. They are distractions designed to pull you out of alignment with what I am doing. You must guard your perception. Because what you believe right now will determine how you respond, and how you respond will either cooperate with my movement or resist it. And I tell you this with urgency. Do not interfere with what I am restoring. There are things happening beneath the surface of your son's life, internal shifts, quiet realizations, moments of conviction, seeds of awakening, that are fragile in their early stages. If you rush in with control, pressure, or fear-driven words, you could disrupt what I am gently establishing. This is not the time to control. This is the time to trust. Yes, you are called to guide. Yes, you are called to love. Yes, you are called to stand in faith. But you are not called to replace me. Let me be God in his life. Because I know the timing. I know the pressure points. I know exactly how to reach places in him that no one else can touch. There are conversations I am orchestrating. There are encounters I am arranging. There are moments I have set that will awaken something inside him that cannot be undone. And when that moment comes, you will recognize it. It will not look ordinary. It will not feel accidental. It will carry a weight, a presence, that makes everything shift at once. But before that happens fully, you must prepare your heart. Because I am not only moving for your son. I am moving in you. You have carried burdens that were never yours to carry. You have blamed yourself for things you did not cause. You have questioned your decisions, your past, your parenting, your faith. You have replayed moments in your mind, wondering if you missed something, if you could have done something differently. Hear me clearly. Release that weight. You are not responsible for every path your son has taken. You are responsible for your obedience, and you have not been abandoned in that. Where you made mistakes, I bring grace. Where you lacked understanding, I bring mercy. Where you felt inadequate, I bring restoration. Because guilt will blind you, but peace will allow you to see what I am doing now. And you need clarity in this season. There is a turning point approaching. Not in some distant future, but closer than you think. You will begin to notice subtle changes. A shift in his tone. A hesitation before certain decisions. A curiosity about things he once ignored. A restlessness that cannot be satisfied by what used to distract him. Do not dismiss these signs. They are not random. They are evidence. Evidence that something is awakening. But understand this part carefully. Awakening often feels uncomfortable. When light enters a place that has been dark, there is resistance. There is confusion. There is tension. Your son may not immediately understand what he is feeling. He may pull away before he comes closer. He may question before he believes. He may struggle before he surrenders. This is part of the process. Do not panic when you see it. Do not assume it means failure. It means transformation has begun. And transformation is not always quiet. It can shake everything that once felt stable. But I am in the shaking. I am in the unsettling. I am in the disruption of what no longer belongs. Because I am not restoring him to who he was. I am calling him into who he was created to be. And that requires change at the deepest level. There are chains being broken that you never saw. There are patterns being interrupted that have existed longer than you realize. There are generational cycles being cut off, right here, right now, through what I am doing in him. This is bigger than one life. This is legacy. And you were chosen to witness it. But you must stay aligned. Stay steady. Stay anchored. Because the moment you let fear take over, you risk speaking against what I am building. And your words carry power. Speak life, even when you don't yet see full evidence. Speak peace, even when things feel uncertain. Speak trust, even when you don't understand the timing. Because what you release in faith creates atmosphere, and atmosphere matters more than you think. Now listen closely to this. Celebrate before you see the final result. Yes, celebrate now. Not because everything is already visible, but because everything is already set in motion. Your celebration is not denial, it is agreement. Agreement with heaven. Agreement with what I have already declared. Agreement that what I have started, I will complete. Do not wait for proof to rejoice. Rejoice as proof. Because faith that waits for evidence is not faith, it is confirmation. And I am calling you higher than that. There is a sound of victory forming, even now. Not loud. Not public. Not yet. But it is building. And when it breaks through fully, it will not be able to be hidden. You will look back and realize that what seemed like delay was perfect timing. What seemed like loss was protection. What seemed like silence was preparation. And what seemed impossible was already decided. But until that moment arrives in full, remain watchful. Not anxious, but aware. Because there are still distractions that will try to pull your focus away. There are still voices that will try to plant doubt. There are still situations that may look like setbacks, but are not. Discern carefully. Not everything that looks negative is negative. Not everything that feels slow is stagnant. Sometimes, I slow things down to make them last. Sometimes, I pause movement to strengthen foundation. Sometimes, I allow tension to reveal truth. Trust the process you cannot fully see. And above all, trust me. Because I am not late. I am not absent. I am not uncertain. I am precise. I am intentional. I am faithful beyond what you can measure. And your son is not outside of my reach. He never was. Even in moments where you thought he had gone too far, I was still there. Even in places where you could not follow, I was already waiting. Even in decisions that made you afraid, I had already prepared a way through them. There is no distance that can separate him from my call. No mistake that can cancel my purpose. No darkness that can overcome my light. And what I have placed inside him will come alive. Not by force. Not by pressure. But by encounter. By revelation. By a moment that changes everything. And when that moment comes, it will not be fragile, it will be undeniable. So breathe. Release the tension. Let go of the need to control outcomes. And step into trust again. Because I am moving. Even now. Especially now. And this is why I said, stop everything and celebrate. Because what you have been praying for, what you have been hoping for, what you have been holding on to, is no longer just a possibility. It is becoming reality. Hold on to this promise. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. Exodus 14 verse 14.